Hey YouTube, this is 10duck10. I wanted to do a review of my Walther PPS. PPS stands for Police Pistol Slim. This gun is made by Walther. It's made in Germany. And this one's chambered in 9mm. They also offer it in 40 Smith & Wesson. Let's go take a look at it. Alright, so here's my Walther PPS. As I said, this one is in 9mm. They also offer it in 40 Smith & Wesson. Let me do a nice safety check for you. There you go, empty magazine. Yeah. We're safe. Okay. This gun is it's very nice to carry, easy to carry. It's got a 3.2-inch barrel, 6.3-inch length overall. This gun is, as you can see, it's very thin. I'm going to give it something to compare it to. Here's a toothbrush right there. Yeah. How do you like that? It's just a little bit thicker than a toothbrush. So go around, carry a toothbrush. See how hard that is to carry. Yeah, not too hard. This carries very nicely. It's nice and light. I can carry it inside the waistband in almost anything. Basketball shorts, track pants, khakis, jeans, you name it. It carries great in it. The Walther PPS is right up there. It's got the logo. There are a lot of positives to this gun, only a few negatives, and both negatives that I have with the gun come talking about the magazine, so I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start top to bottom. It has a fixed 3-dot sight system. The dots are easy to pick up in daylight and low light situations. As you can see, there is a little bit of play between the rear and front sights. I like that. Some people want a tighter sight picture. I prefer play there. But you know, it's up to you. You might want to look into some aftermarket sights if you don't like it. There is a loaded chamber indicator right here. There's a little window that allows you to see the brass or the steel, depending on what type of cartridge you're using. You should treat every gun as though it's loaded at all times anyways, but if you don't know, there you go, you can check. The slide serrations are only in the rear. They don't have front slide serrations, which is unfortunate, but the rear slide serrations give you a very good grip on the gun. They're pretty deep for how thin this gun is, and they allow good purchase on it. This is a slide release right here. It's a very low profile slide release. There's not much it can catch on. These are the takedown tabs. I'm going to field strip it in a little bit here. Picatinny rail system with one notch, so you can put your laser or your flashlight. I don't have either. I don't have a need for them. It's not my home defense gun, and I'll talk about lasers in another video. So the trigger guard is nice and big. You can get a fingered glove in there very easy, which up here in Michigan is really nice because, hey, it gets cold and we wear gloves sometimes. And if I'm wearing light gloves, I can still grab my weapon and fire it with ease, which is very good. The trigger has a Glock style trigger safety, and that's the only safety on this gun. The magazine release is one of my favorite parts of this gun, so I'm actually going to come back to that and talk about it. I'll touch on that in a minute. It is a striker fire gun, and there's the striker indicator. I don't know if you can see it. I got terrible lighting in here. I'm going to get some better lighting, so I apologize for that. But take my word for it. You can see the striker. There's a little hole, and as you let me give you a little. As you pull the trigger, the striker, as you can see, comes out a little bit, protrudes out of that hole. It lets you know that the striker is primed and ready to go. There's not a lot of stippling on the sides of the grip. The backstrap and the front of the grip offer good stippling, but it's still a very good grip on this gun, even with the flush magazine with your pinky hanging. You can still get a nice purchase on the gun, good grip. And there are 2 back straps for this gun. Right now I have the bigger of the back straps. I also have a thinner back strap. There's a little button, takes the back strap right off. Now that is one thing. When the back strap is off, that is one safety mechanism. The gun cannot be. The gun can't cock it. Can't set the trigger or the striker with the back strap off. And then the magazines are nice. They're a very nice steel, heavy-duty magazine. And I suppose this is where the only negatives of this gun come in to play. It has a low magazine capacity, but you know, for a single stack gun, there's not much more you can ask for. I understand where a lot of people would have, you know, they have their Glock 19s, which has double the mag capacity of this magazine right here. So it's like carrying 2 of these. Actually, it's like carrying 2 of these with a round in the chamber, because this holds 7. So 2 of these still would be 1 less than 1 Glock 19 magazine. So and that is a negative. You know, you're losing out on some firepower when you have this gun. But what I can say is the amount of times you'll carry this gun over anything else may outweigh that, or at least it'll give you another option for days that you don't feel like carrying a bigger gun. And it's always better to have something over nothing, especially when that something is still firing 9mm rounds. It's still firing them very accurate. That's what Walther's, you know, it's a good brand name that's known for making small, accurate firearms. It's also known for having very good triggers, and this is one of those with another very good trigger. It says it's a 6.1 pound trigger pull, but it feels less than that. And the brake is so crisp once you get to it. There is some travel to get to the brake, as you can see. There's travel there. And it is a little bit of travel. It's a double action only gun, and with the only a trigger safety, it's nice to have some travel on that trigger. But the brake is just so crisp. The reset is a little bit longer than maybe the Walther PPQ, but I'm not going to compare the Walther PPQ trigger to this trigger because it's not the same type of gun. You know, that's a mid-size compact gun. This is a much smaller gun than the PPQ. But it has a great trigger for what it is. The only other the negative part about these magazines, other than their capacity, is their price, and that's something to think about if you're thinking about purchasing this gun. I would recommend purchasing this gun, but you do have to think about the fact that these magazines retail anywhere from $45 to $50. That is a hell of a lot for a single stacked 7-round or 6-round flush magazine. They also have an 8-round magazine. That's a lot of money to pay for one magazine. And actually, and right now with all this crazy gun stuff going on here in the States, they're even more expensive. Trying to find them on eBay and whatnot. People are really making some money off of their Walther PPS magazines. So that is one negative that you do have to think about if you're going to go purchase this gun. Is you got to think about, you know, I only have 2 magazines. Would I love to have a third? God, yes, I'd love to have a third. But you know, they are expensive. So those are my basic my negatives of this gun, is the capacity and price of the magazine. But you know, I can justify the capacity with how slim the gun is, and I can almost justify the price if you talk about supply and demand, and the fact that this gun is not as mass produced as, you know, your Glocks or even your Springfields. where they have 30, you can find $25, $30 magazines. Maybe not right now, but usually in a saner market you can find $30 magazines for those, because the demand is higher and the supply is more, so they have a little bit lower price. It's not enough to justify charging me $50 for this, but oh well, c'est la vie. So I want to talk about one of my favorite parts of this gun. That's this magazine release. The Walther PPQ offers a similar magazine release, at least the older version does. They came out with a new version of the PPQ this year, which has a regular push-button magazine release. I don't have a PPQ, but I do plan on buying one sometime in the future. And when I do go to purchase one, I'm going to look for the older version with this style magazine release. Again, I apologize for the lighting. Gosh, maybe I'll redo this review once I get some better lighting in here, but this will have to do for right now. The magazine release runs along the trigger guard, not like an HK where it's still down here, you still have to move your hands to get to it. It's part of the trigger guard, and it's ambidextrous. It runs along both sides, and I actually use my trigger finger to push it, which is really good, because when you're changing magazines you shouldn't have your finger on the trigger anyway. So it forces you into some good habits of, fire last shot, slide locks back. Alright, finger off the trigger, magazine release, new magazine in. Now I can go back to firing. And my favorite part about the magazine release is how it shoots the magazine right out of the magazine well. And that's a big thing for me, because when you're talking about in a fighting situation, God forbid you're ever in one, some of those push button magazines, I'm not saying all of them, they're still a great design, but some of them, with an empty magazine, maybe there's not enough weight for it to fall out, even when it's straight down, or if you're at a little bit of an angle, it might not come out all the way. This magazine release, you could be at an upward angle, and it's pushing it out. Any type of side angle, and it's shooting it right out of there. It's literally forcing the magazine right out of the magazine well. And that might be a little thing to some people, but to me, when I'm talking about increasing my rate of survival, I want to limit as many things to think about. That's why I choose a gun like this. It doesn't have any safeties to think about. It's a pull point shoot system, PPS, pull point shoot. I don't have to disengage any safeties. I can pull the gun. I can aim, and if I determine that my life is in danger, I can fire. I don't have to think about anything else in those stressful moments. And when I don't have to think about my magazine coming out of the magazine well, that's an added bonus. And every little tiny thing that can save my life, I'm gonna look at as a positive. So like I said, some of you guys might think that's a little thing. Oh, your magazine gets hung up in there, and it is a little thing if you're just at the range, or you're just at the gravel pit, and you're just out shooting. But this is a carry gun. This is meant to save my life or my family's life, and God forbid one of those moments occur, and that magazine does not fall out of there. That could be vital seconds that lead to maybe the end of your life. You don't know. There is no way of knowing. There's no such thing as 100% survival. So I'm going to look for any advantage I can get. To me, that's an advantage. Another one of those advantages is this gun does not have a magazine disconnect. For those of you who don't know what a magazine disconnect is, some guns, some weird people thought that the gun should not fire unless a magazine was in the gun. Well, thank God, Walther offers a gun that if my gun was loaded and there was no magazine in it, I can still fire my weapon. Because, again, God forbid, you're in that moment, you're in that situation, and you have your loaded firearm, and you fire 2 shots, and you're nervous, and you accidentally eject the magazine, and you got a guy walking up to you with his gun pointed at you, and you can't fire now. You can't fire because some some crazy liberal thought that it was going to save a life that that the gun wouldn't shoot if there was no magazine in it. Well, my gun doesn't have that, thank God. Again, I'm sure there is some anti-gun liberal great reason for a magazine disconnect. But since I am neither of those things, I do not believe in magazine disconnects. This gun doesn't have it. So like I said, this is a great carry gun. It's a great everyday carry gun. Would I love to add to my collection a Glock 19, a Glock 23, you know, a Walther PPS, a bigger gun with a double stack magazine? Yeah, I plan on acquiring one of those guns at some point in the future. But as for right now, this is what I have, and it's on my side every day. So, you know, I do recommend this gun. Its biggest negatives come with the fact that it's so easy to carry. It's so slim. It's a single stack magazine. You know, if you're going out, you know, maybe it's not the best first gun for somebody. You know, it turned out to be my first handgun that I bought, and my first carry gun, obviously. But you know, maybe if you're going out and buying your first handgun, maybe you want to buy like a Glock 23. That's something that's going to be bigger, that you can use for home defense, good for at the range, and still easy to carry. But for those of you that may already have a Glock 19, a Glock 23, like I said, there's plenty of guns I can name. I could name really expensive guns like Sig P228. Maybe you got one of those, which is a great carry gun. But you're looking for something that, hey, I wanna put in my basketball shorts to go run down, pick up the mail. You know, I don't wanna get my carry system on to carry my Glock 23 or whatnot. This will carry very nicely. So, thanks for taking your time to watch this video. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, and I hope to bring you some more videos in the future. So, thank you very much for taking a look at my channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you want.